I love a good thriller, but I really love a good gay thriller, and I saw one. This movie is called Urbania, and it is fantastic. Now, trying to be vague as possible, this film follows a character named Charlie, whose main focus is trying to find an elusive man who we, the audience, know nothing about. And this movie came out in the early 2000s, and it reminded me of other thrillers that came out during that era, of films like Memento or The Limey, where the film isn't told passively as an observer, it's actually a participating element in the storytelling, and it helps add to the mystery. And what I mean by that is its use of editing. It drops you right into the character's fractured state of mind through the use of cutaways, close-ups, zooms. This movie does not hold your hand, it just drops you into this world. And don't be fooled by its conventional story at the start, because as the film slowly comes into focus near the end, it just left me with such a cinematic high that I think is worth talking about. So let me be clear also that this film is a thriller. So there is some moments of really intense violence and some very controversial ideology in this. So if that bothers you, just know that. But again, this is a thriller. It kind of comes with the territory. You know, we're not dealing with some easygoing movie. Now, I'm not going to lie. This movie had a rough start, and I was almost going to give up on it. There's just something about early 2000s indie films with this type of aesthetic that I felt like maybe it's not going to deliver. And I'm so glad that I stuck around, because this film totally delivered. Throughout the beginning, I just kept asking myself, what even is this movie? What is it trying to do? And a large part of this movie has to do with urban legends. And some of these urban legends that they talk about, I've actually never heard of. So I'm still kind of wrestling in my head the reasoning to put these urban legends in it and how that has to do with the later half of the film. Maybe it was really obvious and it just completely went over my head, but I still can't figure it out completely. Now, the thing I love most about this movie is its approach to editing. And unfortunately, I feel like the majority of movies never utilize the full potential of editing. And editing is it is cinema. Like, that and cinematography are like the most important elements in movies, especially editing. A lot of movies, they use the type of editing that we see is invisible because we don't see the amount of work that actually went into refining something. You just see the end result. And that's fine. And a lot of editing is not meant to be seen. But there is so much more that you can do with editing that sometimes just gets left on the table. And one of them being having it be an element in telling your story. One of the best modern examples of that I can think of is Oppenheimer. And if you've seen that movie, you know how very much the editing helps tell the energy and put you in the state of mind of those characters. And here, Urbania is doing the very same thing. It's using editing to further immerse you into the character's mind. And sometimes the screenplay writes these elements into it too, so there's definitely something that could be going on there, even though I didn't read the screenplay. There's really great use of editing here in these close-ups, these shots, these flashbacks, and it does a great job just immersing you in the character's head. Now, the main character is played by an actor by the name of Dan Futterman, and this guy's got so much star charisma and power, and he does a great job just demanding attention whenever he's on screen and just wondering about what he's going to do, and he has such a control over his presence in the movie. What I really did love is this kind of high wire act that it pulls, where it's this one thing, like a playful, chaotic first half, and then it really just changes tones. And that's a really difficult high wire act, almost a magician trick that it pulls off. And so this movie is definitely something that should get more notoriety, and I really hope that somebody recognizes that too and picks up this movie to restore it, because it deserves to have restoration and to be seen in the most pristine quality. I know I say that a lot about movies that I liked on here, but this is one of them. And that's what's so bittersweet about having a channel like this, is that even though the gay genre, the LGBT queer genre is already marginalized, that doesn't make the films any less amazing. And it's the type of movie that you just really want to talk to people about and find out what they think about it and what certain things meant to them. Well, I don't know. I feel like sometimes these movies just don't get the credit that they deserve, because they're really fantastic. Anyways, thank you very much for being here and making sure that these queer films are definitely not forgotten.